Right, so you just saw a brief demonstration of where we're going to be heading, and now we're going to get stuck into it, right? So we have these setups here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this rig off to the side, so then that way we can use it as reference. So let's just do that. I'm just going to click it and grab it. And then, yeah. And then let's get stuck into it. Okay, so the first thing what we want to do is we want to create a circle, a curved circle, make it 2D and put it on both. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edit mode and just switch it to active element by the greater than key or the period key. Select the active element so I can scale everything all together and scale it down. So that's going to be my root object. And then all I'm going to do is Shift D, drag these out. And they're going to be the rest of those elements there. Okay, so let's just add these colors. And the way you can do this is make sure your active object is last. Control L, link material. Control L, link material. Control L, link material. And finally, last one, Control L, link material. Okay, so they're all the same. Now, how do we get this kind of funky business happening? Okay, so really easily duplicate your points and then just scale in, and that's going to give you your root object. This one here, we might make this one's handles a little bit different. We might duplicate this and scale in. Actually, let's select all of it and what we're going to do is we're going to deselect each one of these points here by holding Control, Shift, and dragging around each point. And then I'm just going to say, yeah, active element. Actually, first of all, we need to set this to free, and then we can get rid of these points. And now if we scale in, we can have this kind of cool effect. So it's a different kind of controller, right? All right. This one here, we want to scale it up. So I'm just going to hit V on the keyboard and turn this to vector. That's going to give us our shape. And I'm also going to do the same for this one. And V for vector. And A and S to scale it up. Okay, and yeah, I'm just going to put these right at the end like that. I'll move this one up a bit, and I'm going to select everything by A on the keyboard and just grab these and move them to the end there like that. Okay, so basically these are the shapes for our object. We've made a slight altercation here. We've made this one a bit fatter. It's not 100% one-to-one. The most important thing here is the principle. So what we want to do is if we can hit F2 on the keyboard for renaming, and we can call this one root. I'm going to call this one F2B for blue, F2 CTRL, and F2P for purple. Okay, so that's pretty much set up now. So control clicking to select all of them. Click on the last one, Control P, and object key transformations. And then all I'm going to do is now test out my transformations, and we can see they all work. Yay! So they're all independent. Nothing's parented to each other, but they're all parented to this. So now that this is set up, basically all we want to do is we add our constraints. So just one at a time. Oh, and if you want to check your relationships, again, just over here on your object tab in your properties panel, you can just come down to relationships and you can check your relationships there. So we can see it's it's parented to here to root 2. Let's just call it donut. Okay, and we can see that they all update donut. So not too shabby. Okay, so if we want to add a constraint to this now, we're just going to click over to our constraint icon, our object constraint icon, mind you, and then we're just going to click on stretch 2, change all this stuff up, and select our object that we're going to point to. And so we can see here, you know, this is what's going to happen. So that one's working. Now this one, we know from the previous demo that there's 2 constraints we need to add to it. The first one was stretch 2, which means it's going to flip on the axis. So point to our constraint. So this makes it flip away. And then what we want to do is we want to add our damp track constraint and select our control object. And so here is just going to help us decide what axis it needs to be on. This is the negative y axis. And that is pretty much it. The last part of this to get our default pose is we want to rotate this on the x-axis, so R, X, and 90. So that's going to give us our new control rig here. And then if we want to set all these axes up, we can say, oh, all transforms to deltas. And so now when we move this information wherever we want, we can come back in and we can go Alt G, Alt R, Alt S, and it gives us back our default pose. Now, where does that delta information live, right? That's what we want to find out. So delta information is under transforms and it sits just in here. So basically we've got our grab, our scale, you know, like our squash and stretch behavior. So all of that is working, and we can see here that all of our information is helping us work with zeroed out controls. Now this isn't desirable based upon other applications. It's not the best way to work, but this is actually better than not having this capability. So just being able to select on all of these objects and then just Control A, all transforms to deltas, is really going to open up, you know, the capability to set your default poses. The other thing is the transform delta information lives somewhere in these menus. I just have to remember where it is. Transform. You know what? I might leave that to you guys, and you can find it out, and you can tell me in the description. Where is it? Where is it? Animation. I don't remember. It's somewhere in here though. Yeah, look at all these beautiful menus. Huge, right? Okay, so basically that's that one set up. In the next one, we'll start setting up this more complex example, which really is basically the exact same thing. Okay, but it's just got a few more objects, so it's nothing to be scared of. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.